So there's a story. The story is there's this guy in a car sales shop. What he does is he sells Porsche cars. So what he did is he went to a very rich neighborhood in US and they were sending flyers to buy the car. No, people were not responding. So what this guy did was he went out and clicked photos of everyone's houses. And then what he did, he photoshopped the Porsche standing on their driveway. And then he sent it. And the sales went like 2x, 3x. The guy was full. Like he exceeded his quota. And the idea was that sometimes prospects don't have the imagination to know how they will feel once they get something. The thing is, the winners will make up 5 times more than the losers. Hello. So, if you have a development firm, so technology services firm in India or anywhere in the world, I want you to know, like in India alone, from last I checked, there were 50,000 development firms. I'm on Sales Navigator, basic thing. यहाँ पे डाला मैंने software development as you can see the 3 lakh companies that show up, right now. And if you see, a lot of them, they say they are in US, but many of them we know are in India or other parts of the country, but they say they are in the US. And you can keep changing it, right? So you can see how many app development companies are there. So this is your competition, basically. This is the noise in the market. The people like 100,000, as we can see, 25,000 here in India. I would say even ज़्यादा ही होंगी. And then you can do your own searches. As what is happening right now is, like, all these companies are targeting around 1 lakh US companies. So because every service company, once they get a US client and they have that US dollar coming in, it's like blood to a lion. So what has happened is, because it's blood to a lion or to fish or shark, it has turned into a red ocean. The problem with all this is and listen to me, if this is you, you need to change something. And many service companies say, when I ask them what is the USP, they say we give the best service, or we have the most technical expertise, or अगर client कुछ कह देता है तो we deliver by hook or crook. We deliver. What I hear is they have no USP, and in my reality this will hurt a little. Most technology service companies are opportunity beggars. What it means is, the whole strategy is, we'll go to a company and we'll say, just give us one opportunity, just tell me one problem I can solve for you, and my team will build this technology for you for $15,000, and you will experience the best service, 24 hours people available for you. Yes. And I think people know that. The problem is not that is the best service. The problem is they don't know where to put your service, right? So you need to go there with okay, this is an opportunity you can capitalize on. This is a problem we can solve for you, because I know about your industry. If I'm going to a barber, he should know what hairstyles suit for people with my face structure, right? But ultimately, ultimately this problem is that the founders are usually technology founders. They have not put a lot of effort in optimizing the sales experience. And I'll show you a bit of sales experience.
Made possible by new Bazamp's offering.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you the future of sales and what it takes to build it. I'm going to take example of my own company. So I'm going to do is, I'm going to randomly create a name. So let's just say Joe. I'm going to go and I'm going to scrape the information about him. This is where the money is. I want to craft a message and I want to send it to him. So I'm going to use AI to do that. And what does Tesla Solar do? So I think they're a software company for financial institutions. Let's see the message we have created for the person. The message is cracking CEOs, CIOs, and operation managers at community banks. He's probably targeting community banks in the US and them. And I have then further customization. This is what we call intent data. Like, this is what they need to be doing. As you can see, this whole message was created within a second. Do you get the data? How you enter the data? What happens across the data? When the data exits as a lead, what happens? When the data enters your sales system, what happens? Who manages it? And how do you run it when you have not much people? Let's say you just have 2 people and the whole system works on by 2 people, can run the whole system. And third part is ongoing strategy and operations management. How do you keep track of the system? How do you improve the strategy ongoing? How do you manage operations, right? And we're going to take all of this and put it into tech systems. And if you're thinking, okay, so it's too much work, and if you think it's overwhelming, that's where I come in. What will happen is I'll make it a breeze. But if you are in this circle, there are 3 things you can start doing. Number 1 thing you should start doing is have a dedicated closer. What dedicated closer is, that a person who is in sales, who is ideally not doing lead generation, even though he can do, but certainly he is not engaging with the current client. एक बार client आ गया, he gives it to the team, he never talks to a client. His or her whole deal is to convert new leads. So he will have some leads coming in. So he might have 10 new monthly good leads coming in, and he might have some old leads in the CRM. And his or her duty is just to turn it into revenue for you, right? Uh, the second thing I want you to do is have, like, whenever you get a lead, before you have a meeting with them, make a personalized strategy to them and give it to them. Because what happens is many times people will engage with you, but होएगा क्या कि when they will come on a meeting with you, they will spend 20 minutes and they'll say, I don't think they're special, I don't think they're different. और नहीं होंगे ना, because there are 50,000 like people competing, like some will people will, you will be have similarities, right? So I think the USP I want you to have is कि we put more effort, and you do it in when you do sales. So I'll show it to you. So what we do is when we get an inbound lead, we make sure that we don't have a meeting with that person. So we make a Google slide, and this is not like I have to spend at least half an hour or 1 hour to make it. So the person can see I have spent time on them. So I make a strategy for them. As you can see, there are brackets, right? What should go over here? Examples. And then I basically make a video for them. This is a video. So as you can see, name of clients. Basically, this is a custom strategy for everyone. People are not putting in effort. What people's strategy is, I'll reach out to someone. They will have a meeting with me, and they will be convinced, right? But this does not happen in outbound leads. This does happen in inbound leads where you are getting a referral or you met someone at an event. But this does not happen with outbound. And if you don't do this, if you don't have a dedicated closer, if you don't have this, what will happen is you will be dependent on, again, referrals or events or some other influencer, right? But if you want predictability or you want some kind of control in your growth, if you want to be Infosys one day, this is something you need to do. The third thing you need to do is what I call a package pilot offer, which I also call the theory of the service. Like we have a theory of at Bizams why companies fail. So I think there are 4 reasons why lead generation fails. Number one is reach. I ask clients, like if I'm on a cold call, I will say, okay, are you sure that you're reaching out to your best 1,000 prospects every month? The answer is no. Okay, we will solve that for you. Second, do you think if you reach out to them, would you be able to hook them? So they're like, no, that's fine. We'll A/B test the messaging. We'll make sure you hook them. Third, do you think this when someone engages with you on LinkedIn or email or somewhere else, do you think you will be have the power enough to pull them in to convert into a meeting? They're like, maybe. I'm like, yes, I know it's a maybe, but we'll make sure the follow up is so persistent that they come on board. But also now this strategy of, like I told you, personalized strategy. So when we get a lead, we now send a personalized strategy and then we convince for a meeting. Last is, like, are you sure, like the person who was thinking he does not need your service, how do we convince that outbound lead to invest in the next 3 or 6 months? You need help with outbound sales also. Like because more company think 5 times the number of leads, 5 times the number of sales. That does not happen in outbound. uh, it might happen in inbound, but in outbound is like 5 times the number of leads equal to you know half inbound leads. So thus outbound lead is equal to like 3 inbound leads, right? Because they have gone through, you have to run them through a process of telling them, educating them about the problem or opportunity, the solution, and the vendor. That is you. Over in inbound, they have done all 3 things, so they're just ready to give you the money, right? If you make this, theory of your service will automatically happen. So this is our sales page. As you can see, we have very simple. You can just copy it also, but basically it has 3 things. Every offer needs to have 3 things. One, it needs to have timelines, right? uh, like as you can see, it's a 3 month 90-day pilot. Second, it needs to have a pricing, very important. Third, it needs to have deliverables, so output, talent, outcome, something extra. So everything needs to be there because people in US stalk you first before they invest with you. And our thing, I think my thing is more difficult than a technology firm. Why? Because I'm doing something performance. Like मुझे नहीं पता कि सामने से reply आएगा कि नहीं. But even though I have made given estimates, as you can see on the table, if you're targeting this, what is the number of leads or replies you get? What is the number of meetings you get? I have even done that, and this is like what the kind of other things you get. So if it's if I can do it, your thing should be easier. So one example for you to do is basically have something like, okay, $15,000 and we'll build you Uber for X. And you can have 100 variations of this. And I know companies who are doing this, right? Who have a demo for every great US app कि यार ये app बनी हुई है. You just pay us $15,000. We'll give you the half of the app, and we'll give you 3,000 hours of our developer who will actually help you set it up. So 3,300, I don't know. But also you need to understand, if you do these three things, have a dedicated closer, have a strategy to send to leads, not meetings, show that you are invested in them, make it easy to start with a pilot offer, it will give you power. Let's start with something that you might be like most confused about. It's like personalized consultancy or a roadmap. Basically, I showed you, but you say कि I saw that this is what you want to do. Here's a roadmap, which is partly custom but partly templated, and the person says, okay, this person has looked into our company. He has looked into my idea. He's looked into stuff. Like, it cannot be a hack. He needs to have invested time in it. Really give value before asking him to come on a meeting or a call. So what I want you to do is basically have a meeting or a call before actually you have a meeting or a call, because he has spent 30 minutes of time with you already, right? Also, you need to understand, if you are in a service business, services are scrutinized while tools are tried. I'm going to say it again. Tools are tried, services are scrutinized. The one reason I'm making this video is because services is something that is the manifestation of the knowledge in a person's brain. So if you think I agree with the knowledge of this person, you will more likely to try my service, because like at least the knowledge I can understand. Now is the execution part. Like, can he deliver on the execution? So when you have this personalized consultancy or a roadmap that you give, like a video, like a 30-minute video that you custom make via Loom or Google Slides. If you don't know how, you can consult me. We can have a paid consultancy and I'll show you how you can do it. But the idea is, or I'll make a video also. But if you want it before that or some custom help, you can reach out to me on my email ID. I know you can find it somewhere. Also, what happens with this personalized consultancy or roadmap is you can tell them other things you can help with that even they cannot help. And a salesperson goes from opportunity begging कि sir एक meeting दे दो, just come on a meeting for me with once, we'll show you, we'll do great. He goes to a part where he's like, I sent you a strategy. How do you, like, tell me where did I went wrong with the strategy? I understand you don't want to buy my service, but tell me if our strategy was wrong. Because even if I don't get the prospect, I'll get that knowledge to improve the strategy for the next person. So there's a story. The story is there's this guy in car sales shop. What he does is he sells Porsche cars. So what he did is he went to a very rich neighborhood in US, and uh, they were sending flyers back, like flyers to buy the car, or they were sending some material, but no, people were not responding. So what this guy did was he went out and clicked photos of everyone's houses, and then what he did is he photoshopped the Porsche standing on their driveway, and then he sent it. Legend goes that the sales went like 2x, 3x. The guy was full, like he exceeded his quota. And the idea was that the person does not have a, sometimes prospect don't have the imagination to know how they will feel once they get something. And this 1 hour or half an hour of value that you give is basically you're sending a proposal. You're sending a very custom proposal you invested time in. Your salesperson has invested time in, which has the opportunity of loss. There is a chance that your proposal could be like the person will say, actually, I don't have that budget. So there is a chance. But the thing is, the winners will make up 5 times more than the losers. Second thing, closer. Now, to do this strategy, you basically need a closer. You can probably see let me see if I can move my video over here. Now you can see some part of my screen, right? So you can take a screenshot of this as well. So yeah, I think this was the step 1, and now I'm going to talk about step 2. Step 2 is have a dedicated closer. So dedicated closer should not be doing client management at all. Like, the idea of the dedicated closer is, like, if the person does not convert, he feels I'll lose my job. Does not mean he'll lose your job, does not mean you have to fire him, unless he's an order taker and not a salesman. We'll discuss. But basically, the person should feel ki I'm not giving value to the company if I'm not closing deals. But if he's also doing client management, then he will start to feel ki, okay, you know what, I'm doing some work, so there is some value or something in that I'm adding value to the company. Second, if he's an order taker, he needs to be a salesperson. He can't be order taker. What a salesperson makes sure that he knows कि सामने वाला बंदा ना interest नहीं दिखाएगा. The person will be very lukewarm kind of a person. But I'll pursue him, I'll pull him in, I'll push sometimes, I'll be persistent with big-headed discipline to convert the lead. Right? So that's a salesperson. That is sales. A order taker is someone who says, "Sir, do you have a requirement? Oh, you don't have a requirement. Oh, you know, the person does not have a requirement. I can't generate a requirement." That's an order taker, and you should eventually, in 5-6 months, fire them. And usually, what happens is this is a problem with sometimes if you have a marketing team and a sales team. The very biggest problem with order takers and marketers, because I have worked with a lot of my clients are US companies. My clients are NRIs. So tabhi you can see I sometimes talk in Hindi. And Indians sitting in the US, or Indian companies maybe even sitting in the India, but they're selling into US, so they have employees in the US, right? So they have that mindset. The problem with order takers and marketers is, and usually the people who sit in the US don't have order taker mindset. They know the world around them. In India, there is only this order taking mindset कि सर आपकी requirement है, नहीं है तो मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता. This is a Indian mindset. The fight between order takers and marketers is, a order taker says I want more meetings, I want more leads, I want this, I want that, and marketers say कि यार what's the benefit of giving him more leads, because the leads we gave him he could not close even one. Like we gave you 20 meetings, you could not even close one. All are bad? No, you are bad. And actually, if he's also doing client management, if the salesperson is also doing client management, then it's the bad decision of the founder or the CEO that he is making his company suffer because he does not have, maybe you don't have the money at this point, which is fine. Then figure out a way to get money, build margins. But the idea is follow this system, or it will be very difficult for you to generate sales or leads consistently via outbound. Okay, third step. Third step is package your service. So like I told you, with packaging your service, wanna start with this? Great, start with this. It's a low, it's not very high investment. It gives us the money that we can service you, but it has a limited timeline that you will not waste a lot of time. And there's also a theory attached to it. Okay, we have built the package in a way that a new client can come and decide if they want to go with us for a long time, right? Because many people that will come to you are afraid. Generally, what you can do is you can say, okay, you can buy a scheduled product. Like I told you, if you're like, this is a package, most companies want this problem solved. This problem can be solved in $15,000 with 3 months of time. So this is the offer, and then more details to it. And of course, you will need some testimonials, both in written and video, to back it up. And every offer needs to have three things. If you don't have these non-negotiable three things, you will fail. Price, deliverable, timelines. Again, price. If you can't say a price, you don't have offer. If you can't say what is the deliverable against the price, it's not an offer. When you put a timeline to it, you make it more viable. मैं कितने पैसे दूंगा और मुझे मिलेगा क्या, और कम मिलेगा. So that's the basic three things. After 3 months, you can say we will go in a rediscovery phase, and then you can sell the larger custom services later. So that's one thing. And see, here's the goal. If you're stuck around, now is the power part of it. Once you have full capacity, like once you have, I have a good profit margin, a really good profit margin, like I have good money coming in, I'm taking good salary, don't hire more people, don't hire more service staff. Because what happens is, once you have hire people, then you have this need कि यार I have to go and make sales, and then you make sales at bad terms. Instead, now what you focus on is all the things I mentioned. You start pivoting your model where you can go a little bit towards higher margin services. Like if you're doing it yourself, if you're doing it for the client, see if you can do it with them, right? Where the margin is high. The idea is, if you have full capacity and good profit margin, then what you have to do is try to create pent up demand. Don't hire, but create pent up demand and pivot into services that have higher margins. In 12 months, you should start getting power. There are more list of people want to work with you, and you have limited seats so that you can start increasing your prices. So idea is to create extreme demand if you can. That's of course the goal. That you can sell the things that sell difficult. So any offer that sells difficult, where your input is low, but the price is high, right? If you, and of course, if you can't do all this, that you won't be able to become the Infosys or whatever you want to do. Cool. If you want to buy our services, contact me. I'm pretty sure you can find me. And yeah, have a good day.